I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie yet.
For today's video, I will be discussing and explaining to you about the chapter 10, and it deals with LAN security concepts. So first, if IT is your career path, you will not be maintaining and building for your network, but also you should be responsible when it comes to the security of your network. So now let's begin to chapter 10. So first, our topic title are endpoint security, access control, layer 2 security threats, MAC address table attacks, and LAN attacks. So first, the endpoint security, explain how to use endpoint security to mitigate the attacks. And then the access control is more on about the explaining how the AAA, or the authentication, authorization, and accounting, and especially the 802.1x. So later on I will be explaining to you what are those topic title are. And then the layer 2 security threats is more about the layer 2 vulnerabilities. And then the MAC address table attacks is explain how to use MAC address table attacks to compromise the LAN. And then the LAN attacks also is how to use a LAN to compromise the LAN attacks. So now let's proceed to endpoint security. So here in endpoint security, so in our generation, or in the 21st century, we all know that the news or the media are simply searching in the internet for the latest network attacks. So this endpoint security has the attacks that will involve the DDoS, data breach, and the malware. Sorry for this word, that's malware, not malware. So when we say DDoS, it's distributed denial of service. So when we say this is a organization's coordinated attacks from many devices, and it is called zombie. So first, the intention of this DDoS is to degrading or halting the public access to an organization's website and some resources. And then the data breach, which is an organization's data servers and hosts are compromised to steal the important informations. And then the malware, this kind of attacks is which the organizations hosts are infected with the malicious software, and it caused the variety of problems. And one of the examples of these problems of the malware is that encrypts to a data on a host. So now let's begin to network security devices, and those are the VPN enabled router, NGFW, and NAC. So first, when we say VPN enabled router, it is the VPN enabled router used to connect a router users. And then the NGFW, or the new generation firewall, so it means that it provides stateful packet inspection. And then the last one would be the NAC, or the network access control device. So it means this kind of network security devices is more on about the AAA. So later on I will be explaining to you more about the AAA components. And now the access control. So in the previous I explaining about the NACs, the network access control, and it provides the 3A component, which is the authentication, authorization, and even accounting. So now you will be learn more about the AAA and other ways to the access control. So the AA components stands for authentication, authorization, and accounting. So first, when we say authentication, local and servers are two common method of implementing a authentication or authenticate. And then the authorization is, when we say authorization, it means that authorization governs what users can and cannot do after he or she has been authenticated. And then the accounting, this is more purposes like billing and something billing. And then the 8021X, so when we say 802, so it means that it stands for port-based access control and authentication protocol. So for your better knowledge, I will be explaining to you about the 8021X port-based. For your better understanding and knowledge when it comes to 802.1X, I will be showing you of that. So first, I will draw here the PC or the computer. So for example, this is our PC and this is our switch. And lastly, this would be our servers. So this is our supplicant. So this our supplicant responds to request from our switch. So this is our switch. And then after that, if this is our supplicant, and now this is our authenticator. And then this authenticator is what we call our controls physical access to the network based on client authentication status. And then this is our authentication. So authenticator and authentication is different from each other. So this authentication performs the client authentication. So it means that with 802.1X based authentication, the devices in the network have the what we call the specific role. And now we are proceed to layer 2 security threats. So in the previous two topics discussed securing endpoints, and in this topic you will continue to learn about ways to secure the LAN by focusing on the frames found in the data link. So this layer 2 security threats has different attacks. So first is the MAC table attacks. So sorry for that spelling, that was TABL. And then the VLAN attacks, DHCP attacks, ARP attacks, address spoofing attacks, and the STP attacks. So when we say MAC attacks, that includes the MAC addressing flooding attacks. And then the VLAN attacks includes VLAN hopping and VLAN double tagging attacks. And the DHCP attacks, it includes the starvation and DHCP spoofing attacks. And the fifth was address spoofing attacks, and it includes the MAC address and IP address spoofing attacks. And the last one will be the STP attacks, which includes spanning tree protocol manipulation attacks. And now we are moved to MAC table address. So in this topic, the focus is still switches specifically in the MAC address table and how these tables are vulnerable to the attacks. So this MAC table address has a MAC address table flooding, something like that. And then what I have said, the MAC address table flooding, MAC address table attack mitigation. And we are now in the LAN attack. So when we call LAN, it is a, for example, the country, the city, and even the province has a LAN connections attack. So here in LAN attacks, this topic investigates the many different types of LAN attacks and their mitigation techniques. And this LAN attacks has a VLAN, double tagging attack, DHCP attacks, ARP attacks, STP attacks, and CDP reconnaissance. So this VLAN double tagging attack, DHCP, ARP, and STP is like here in the layer 2 security threats. And then, so that's all for the chapter 10. And later on, I will be before anything else, for the better understanding of the access control. So I know here in the AA components, and I know that all of you are familiar when it comes to credit cards. So it means that credit card is similar to AAA components, and we should be secured when it comes to our credit card in order for us to be safe for that. So that's all for this chapter 10 content, and later on I will be summarizing about all the chapter 10 that I have done.
I'm at a party I don't wanna be at, and I don't ever wear a suit and tie.